Hey guys, we wanted to start this episode off a little differently. As people who have a platform, however small it may be, we have a responsibility to lend our voice to those people who are not privileged in the many ways we both are.
We're not going to preach to you about what you should be doing or how you should lend your support. We just wanted to take a moment to say that we're taking the steps in our personal lives to learn, donate, volunteer, and do whatever else we can to support the Black Lives Matter movement, and we suggest you do the same. On the description of this episode, we've listed the many ways you can start.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Brother Sister Show. This is episode 29. Today we're going to be talking about The Lovebirds, starring Kumail Nanjiani and Issa Rae. Came out, when did it come out?
The 2020.
Oh yeah, 2020.
like a week ago?
Yeah, but before we talk about that, my name is Anthony. I'm joined here with my sister Livia.
Howdy.
And together we talk about movies.
But before that, we want to catch up and talk about what we've been watching. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You go first. I honestly don't remember.
I actually don't either. But I do, there's a few significant things. Oh wait, no, there is one thing that I took a note about it. There's this movie that I decided to watch I think because the title of it seemed so dumb that I wanted to see if it was actually dumb, and I confirmed that it was. And it's called Love is Blind.
Love
and
is Blind.
I feel like once we start to do those movie night things, it's going to be one of the movies that I want to watch because I'm going to try to give a piece of it without spoiling anything. But it's this girl that she has some sort of disorder where I was half paying attention, so I don't know if it's a disorder, if she just like it's something I don't know what it is. But she keeps saying that her mom is dead and like her dad is there, and she just keeps she can't see her mom. Like her mom's like, imagine you can't see mom. Like she's in front of you, but you just could not see her. And you just assumed that she was dead, or you thought that she was dead for whatever reason.
Oh, is her name Love and she's blind?
No, I don't really know why. I still don't understand what that title means. I think she's just blind to the people that she loves. No, because she can see some people. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really know what the fuck happened in it. It's an insane movie. And her like, because at some point you think that she actually, her mom is actually dead and that her dad is talking to a ghost, but then they make it clear that her mom is there and she's alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's very strange. I'm not doing a great job of explaining it because I do want to keep like some sort of mystery about it, because I want to have it in our back pocket to watch because it's truly insane. It would be very fun to watch it with a group of people.
I'm just thinking, like, how do you pitch that movie? Like, pretty much what you did is the pitch for that movie. Imagine going to a studio and like, give me money to make this.
And people, yeah, that's what I kept thinking when I was watching this movie. Like, it was one of those movies where like sometimes I'll see a bad movie, or I guess a movie I think is bad, and I'm like, yeah, but I can kind of understand at a certain point it probably sounded good, or when you were watching it, or when you're making it,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, this is going to be good, and then in the edit or whatever part of it, you're like, oh shit, this is not good at all.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, I don't understand at any process why it sounded like a good idea. But I could be wrong. Maybe I just need to watch it again and have my full attention on it. But I just think that'll make me even more confused. Because it was like that movie I talked about a while ago called Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Where when it
Mm-hmm.
ended, I didn't realize it ended because I wasn't paying attention, but it also didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel finished.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. That was wild. I started Pen 15. I don't know if you've
Mm-hmm.
seen it.
No, but I know
It's
of it.
Yeah, it's been recommended to me a lot, and so I decided to finally watch it. And it's very funny. It's I'm assuming everybody knows the concept of it. I'm really good at getting into things super late, but basically it's these two comedians that I think they wrote the show. I don't know, but it's two comedians that play seventh graders, but it's them. They're like adult women and they're playing seventh graders, and everybody else in the show is actual seventh graders.
That's funny.
And it's just basically them. I think because of the dynamic of and Dad brought this up, which was a really good point, and I can see it now that I've seen the pilot, but it does really it serves the dynamic between them really well because can you imagine an adult like you acting opposite of a seventh grader, how awkward that would be. It kind of plays into that. And it also brings out, like my friend was saying, it just brings out a lot of like nostalgia for seventh grade, but like cringy nostalgia. Kind of like the movie Eighth Grade.
Oh.
But I'm excited to get into it. It was very funny. I like the style of it. I'm upset that it took me this long to get into it, but I'm glad I'm finally watching it. But there's that. I also finally got myself a Switch, so I've been playing that nonstop. Oh, and I almost forgot about it. But my side project that I've been working on is finally out. So for a while I've been working with my friend Avital Ash. She directed, wrote, produced, created. She basically did everything for a mini series called Thirsty. And you can see all 4 episodes, and they're really digestible. They're super short, really good. They look amazing. They have great music, all of that. And they're on thirsty.show is where you can watch all of them. And I did all of the artwork and the website. Like I didn't actually have a hand in making the episodes, but I helped with like getting it out and getting it on a website. And yeah, so that's what I've been working on, and I'm super proud of it, of the work I've done, the work that everybody else has done. Yeah, it was a very fun thing to do, and I started working on it a while ago, but it kind of now that it was just released, a lot of the work has been during quarantine, which has been interesting. And she's based in LA, so that's also been, and I live in Austin, obviously, so that's also been an interesting experience. But yeah,
That's
I'm excited.
thirsty.show, the website.
Yeah, that's the website. That's where you can watch it. Is thirsty.show. And you can also go to my personal Instagram, which is Livia_Trevino, and it's the link in my bio. And tell us if you watch it. I am always interested because there's 4 episodes and they're very distinct. It's an anthology, so it's all the same kind of feel, but like what's the word? Yeah, I guess feel tone. But they're all super different, and so I like to hear what people's favorite episodes are.
Yeah,
It's
let us
very
know.
interesting.
Mine was Mimosa, so.
That is also mine. That's mine, yours, and Mom's and Dad's.
I think that speaks
And
to our sense of humor.
I also told Avital that I feel like we just love watching men cry. Yeah, I'm super excited to be part of it. I'm going to talk about it for a very long time, but yeah, that's what I've been
That's
working
awesome.
on, and I'm excited to finally talk about it.
The project is real.
Real, yeah. That's what I kept telling her. Like, I feel like, I mean, it wasn't like secret. Like, she never told me to say, like, to keep it a secret. That's kind of how I work. Like, I don't really want to tell people what I'm doing until it officially comes out, because then I'll be tempted to, like, send this, like, stills of stuff that I'm, like, or not stills, but sending, like, the images. But then I just would rather everybody see it at once
Yeah, for sure.
than, yeah.
Spoil it.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of stuff that is in different stages and it wasn't finalized, but everything's out now.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. What have you been doing?
Not a damn thing. I got nothing. I haven't been doing anything, just work. Um, that's honestly it outside of watching stuff. Honestly haven't been watching stuff a lot. I don't know what I do with my time. I've been picking up, uh, watching more streams, and playing more games, just because I have the free time. Uh, but I have been watching Avatar,
Oh yeah, Sebastian's been watching it too.
The Last Airbender. I'd never seen it before, so it's fun to watch that. Kayla really likes the show, and also it's pretty good. That's it. Have you ever seen it?
Avatar?
Yeah.
No.
Mm.
I don't think I can invest in a show that long.
It's surprisingly the episodes are only like 20 minutes long. So
Isn't there
it's
like a bunch of seasons though?
there's only 3.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
What am I thinking of?
Naruto? I don't know
Oh,
if I said.
maybe. Probably. That's the one that Sebastian watches and too, and there's so many episodes.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to get into an animated series.
I get that.
I did watch, and I don't know if I talked about this last time, but I watched the entirety of Solar Opposites again.
Oh, again?
Yeah, because those are I didn't realize how short the season felt until I wanted to I like I said, I have a Switch, and so I've been playing Animal Crossing and starting from scratch. So I just wanted something to be playing in the background, and I couldn't think of anything else. So I was like, oh, I'll just play Solar Opposites, and I didn't even realize that I finished it
Mm-hmm.
until I paid attention.
You can
But it's
get
super
Hulu
easy to.
on your Switch.
Why would I do that?
I'm just saying you get Hulu and you get YouTube.
Or maybe that's where people can watch Thirsty on their Switch. I'm sure that's how she intended it to be watched on a Switch.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, but yeah, I kind of hijacked your thing. But what else are you watching? Is that the only thing?
That and the new season of Rick and Morty that's been airing every Sunday at like 10. I'll watch that. So I'll watch that tonight because we are recording on a Sunday. That's
Is
pretty
it
much
good?
it.
Is it
I
good
like
so
it.
far?
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching the first season, but I don't remember anything that happened.
And Rick and
I
Morty?
think it was a while ago. Yeah. Or second season? How many seasons? I've seen all of the seasons except for the one that's coming out now.
This is the 4th season, so you've seen 3.
Oh, well, there you go. But yeah, I don't really remember any of the stuff that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably have to rewatch it. Those are the only, I think those might be the only like animated shows that I would watch right now. I think especially because it's written by the same people, right? Or created by the same people of Solar
Uh,
Opposites.
half of the people, or like, there's 2
Oh,
writers in Rick and Morty, and then one of them worked on Solar Opposites, I believe.
oh. Well, I think the thing that's really similar is really fast dialogue and storytelling. And I think that's what I like about it is so much is built like if you were to ask me before we watched Solar Opposites how long I think the season was, I would say like 10 episodes because I feel like that's the amount of story they filled in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't I think it's like 5 or something, right? It's like not a lot of
Nah,
episodes.
I think there's like 8.
Well, it didn't feel as long as I'm sure it is
For
because
sure.
it's just so like quick.
For sure, for sure. That's pretty much it. I got nothing going on.
Do
I
you have
haven't left the house.
any movie news?
Movie
That's
news.
there's kind of been like news, so it's kind of hard to
No, yeah, there's
do
definitely
that.
movie news. Big movie news is that, um, well, obviously HBO Max is out now,
Yeah.
uh, and Henry Cavill is gonna reprise his role as Superman.
Is that news?
It is news. It is confirmed.
How is that news?
I don't think people were certain whether or not he was gonna be back. I remember thinking and reading a couple places that it was just he was done with Superman.
All right.
But
Well, I think it's. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I'm glad he's a good Superman. And I love Man of Steel, so I'd love to see another one.
Well, I was gonna say I think it's time for me to anger the fans. Um,
You don't like him?
well, that's the thing is I don't really have an opinion because I feel like, or I guess my opinion is that literally anybody could replace him, and I wouldn't. I would not be able to tell the difference. Superman is the most vanilla character I've ever seen. He has like no defining, like he's not like Deadpool where I'm like, oh, only Ryan Reynolds can do that. Like literally anybody could play
That's
Superman.
true.
You just got to get a white man and then he'll be fine. Get him to
I don't
work
know.
out for a couple of months.
It's just because I really like Man of Steel. So I'd like to see him as the Man of Steel again. Not Justice League or
I
Batman
mean, I
vs.
get the
Superman.
familiarity. I don't see the point, I guess. I don't know. I did see, I guess, something about kind of in the same vein of that people, so the whole Snyder Cut shit is like, I think we talked about it last time, right? I saw that somebody said it could cost up to $30 million to do it.
It's worth it.
Do you think it is?
No, definitely not. I th- I don't know. 30 million doing what? Just paying people to just make it?
To recut it, I guess. I don't know. I didn't read I should have read the article, but it said it was a quote that it would cost up to 30 million to do it. That it
God.
wouldn't just be as easy as releasing it. You would have to actually cut it, I guess, or well, and
Well, yeah.
that kind of makes sense too because say if you're going to release a different cut of a movie, you're not just gonna like put it on HBO Max. They're gonna want to like market it, and then you have to get it on a Blu-ray and a DVD and a 4K Ultra, whatever the fuck. Like it's a whole thing that has to happen. I think people just I don't know if people just think movies just get released like on like the Lovebirds on fucking Netflix. I mean that costs money, but it's not as simple as that. Especially with a company like DC, they're not going to want to just release it.
Oh, for sure. And it's not going to release for another year. So, I don't know. I don't.
I am excited about how big this buildup is because it's going to be a letdown. I guarantee you it's going to be a letdown.
Oh, for sure, but I don't know. Got to recreate Sonic.
Oh, I saw that Sonic is getting a sequel.
Yeah. I,
I guess
oh,
another part in the things we don't need news.
I want to see Tail. I want to see Knuckles.
Oh, I mean I guess I forgot about that. I think I saw a couple of people surprised by the news. Of course it's going to get a sequel.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get one more and they'll be done, but
Our boy Benny Schwartz.
any way he can secure the bag is fine with me. I don't care. Give him all the money. All right. Any more movie news? I haven't really been paying attention to movie news.
No, the main one was Henry Cavill as Superman. The Superman we deserve.
All right, well, let's move on to we don't have actually I do want to talk about this. We don't have a guest again, and apparently according to you, Anthony, that's been a point of stress for some people. So I guess we can just say like it's fine, guys. Well, we do want to have guests on, but like
We
not I
started
think
this podcast without, so I mean,
well, and I think it was cool to have something. I'm glad that we did it, and I still want to do it. Like this isn't something that's ending.
oh, for
I
sure.
just feel like just for our sake, because you're getting busy, I'm getting busy. I feel like it makes more sense for us to spread those out so that we can give those instead of having somebody on every single time and kind of half-assing the interview or not feeling as prepared. I would rather have the time to be a little bit better about those and maybe even have people back. I like having the variety of it, having just me and you, and then having people on whenever somebody wants to be on. And that also creates a opportunity where we can have people select movies on their own rather than us be like, hey, watch this because we picked it. I think it would be fun to have, maybe even have people back and have them pick a specific movie. That would be fun to do.
Yeah, also the movies or the episodes that come out with guests are normally around 2 hours, and to just like spit those out, it can be tiring, or I can see it being tiring for you guys.
Yeah, I think I like having these quick ones, even though we're kind of, I don't know how long it is right now, but this will probably be under an hour. I feel like.
Yeah, Lovebirds isn't
It's no lodge, I'll tell you that.
yeah. It's
Well,
not a
speaking of
complicated,
Lovebirds,
not super complicated. I like some stuff.
well, let's get into it. All right,
Let's do it.
Lovebirds came out 2020, I think a couple of weeks ago. It was directed by Michael Showalter, story by Aaron Adams, screenplay by Brendan Gall and Martin Garrow. Principal cast is Issa Rae, Kumail Nanjiani, and Paul Sparks. Which I think, well, obviously Issa and Kumail are the main characters, and I think Paul Sparks, I think that's the bad guy, quote unquote bad guy that's like chasing them.
Paul Sparks.
He looks like a Paul.
Yes, he does.
All right, The Lovebirds is about a couple played by Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani that experiences a defining moment in their relationship when they're unintentionally embroiled in a murder mystery. I don't have any numbers for y'all this week because it came out on Netflix, and I can never, the movies that we have, there's only been a few, but the ones that come out on Netflix, I can almost never find an estimated budget. What is Netflix hiding? And I obviously couldn't find any like money that it made. But as far as what critics thought about it, it got a 6 out of 10 on IMDb, 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 58% on Metacritic.
All right.
There you go. And just so people are, because we're leaving out guests, I don't want people to be upset that we also leave out the fun facts. So I'll just say right now, there was none. well, there was one, and it was that it was supposed to come out in theaters in April, I think, right? But for obvious reasons, it just went straight to Netflix.
Oh, that's very fun.
Which honestly, probably the best place for it.
Yeah.
All right, so we start off this movie with Kumail coming out of what we're assuming is Issa Rae's apartment complex or townhouse, whatever. And this is when they first start dating, and I kind of like that you can tell that from the beginning. We obviously know that it's about the Lovebirds, so they're going to be a couple, but they're all like starry-eyed and really into each other. And then they decide to get breakfast instead of keeping it as a one-night stand, and they just basically hang out all day. And for this first part, even though we were only like probably 5 minutes into the movie, I thought that they had really good chemistry.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think throughout the movie too, that's the one thing I have mixed feelings about this movie, but the one thing I really do love is their chemistry, and it was very believable to me that they were a couple.
I like them as a couple on screen. Maybe even in real life.
Maybe. And it is really nice to see an interracial couple that where a white person isn't involved on the screen. I mean, obviously, like those are in real life that happens, but I like seeing that in a movie because you don't get to see that a lot. So that's just one thing I wanted to say. Yeah, so they have a good date. They share a kiss. That moment was kind of weird. I love a good rom-com, but I don't like how cheesy some of them can be, and that was kind of cheesy where she's like, what is that face? Like, that's just his face. I don't know, it was very strange. And then I knew that this was kind of one of my problems with this movie too, is how predictable it is. And one of the first things that was predictable is when he told her, "You're unbelievable." And then I knew we're going to jump after it said 4 years. I said he's going to say that in a fight. And
Yeah.
that's what he did. That's what we do. We jump 4 years later, and then they're fighting. And I don't. I see fights like I'm assuming fights like this happen in real life, but like I don't think Sebastian and I've ever like yelled at each other like this. So it's very strange to me to see fights like this in movies.
Yeah, one thing I'll say is it didn't if like I knew it was a fight, but it didn't feel like it just sounded like they were having a loud conversation.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they had to yell the
Hmm.
whole time. But I guess they did that so they could have that joke where he said like stop yelling, we don't want our neighbors to think we're crazy or
Yeah.
and I do like I think this first moment like their fight even though I didn't like how much they were yelling, I think it was my one of my favorite scenes of the movie because
Really?
the jokes in it were pretty funny.
Hmm.
I did write I wrote a note. I said I like the jokes in this fight and I hope they keep up this momentum.
Mm.
Because there were some specific ones like when she was making fun of him and saying that he was using his white women fingers to like make a Yelp
Oh,
review.
that
And he
was
was like
funny.
they're what do you say they're bronze
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was
or he said
funny.
they're bulky bronze or something. That was funny and also I like the idea that they're having a fight like the initiation of the fight that it was about like them not being a good couple on Amazing Race, and he's never even seen the show,
That
but that's what
that
they're fighting about. That is very realistic. Especially, I never like fight like that, but we do have where it's always started by me. I will admit my faults. I'll usually be like, "Well, what if this happened?" And if he doesn't respond the way I want, then I'm like, "Well, why would you say that?" But it's my fault. I don't know why I would start it. And I'm also like that too, where I really identified with when he said, "Well, I don't." She's like, "Why you don't even watch Amazing Race?" And he's like, "I don't like it." And she said, "Well, how do you know?" And he said, "Well, I why would I watch it if I don't like it?" Or he
Yeah.
said, "I wouldn't." Something about like I don't need to be punched in the face to know that I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like
Uh,
that too, where I'll tell people like my big thing is I don't like avocado, and people
what?
are like, "I hate avocados," and people say, "Well, have you tried it?" I've never tasted it, but I know I wouldn't like the texture. So I'm the same way as him. I know I wouldn't like it, so why would I try it?
I have to
I'm not
go. I have to
losing
end
any.
this podcast early. I'm sorry. What the hell? What do you? What
I
are
don't like
you? Who are you?
avocados. You like avocados?
I love
I've
avocados.
literally never seen you eat a avocado in my entire life.
What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go prove it to you right now?
Well, I just don't see why you're so. Well, actually, that's a lie. I've seen you eat guacamole.
I don't even know what to do.
We're about to get in a fight.
Here's a question for you. You think you and Sebastian would do well in the Amazing Race?
um, oh, that's a good question. I I think so. Because he's very smart. He's smarter than me, so obviously I want to bring somebody that's smarter than me, and he knows just a lot of random things. So I feel like and he's also just he has a good memory, and there's a lot of memory things.
So he'd carry you. You'd do nothing
Yeah.
for the team.
No, I would. I am really good at motivational speaking. I think I'm a good decision maker because there's a lot of decisions to be made, like if you'll do this or this, and I would be really good at that because sometimes he weighs it too much in his head
Hmm.
and I'm just very like, oh, I'm very definitive. So I feel like
Yeah.
we would be a good team. And also like you have to I think the key to it is not to is to do it with somebody that you wouldn't get tired of. And
Mm.
I would and also I just feel like I would be nervous about going to a different part of the country or not of the world actually. Amazing. I would feel nervous about that because it just makes me nervous not to know the language or not to know where I'm going. And this is cheesy, but like I would feel safe with him no matter where we were.
Gotcha.
And for that reason, I think I would do him or I would choose him to go. My question was going to be who would you choose to go? But I want you to answer the question though of if you and Kayla would be good.
Oh yeah, we dominate, without a doubt.
Oh my god. All right. But if you couldn't choose her though, or if she didn't want to go, who would you choose?
Anyone I know?
Yeah.
Literally anyone I know.
Hmm.
God, that's a good question.
While you
Mm.
think, I can say what mine is.
Yeah, you do that.
I would choose Dad
Okay.
because he's also kind of like Sebastian, where he just knows a lot of random things. He's also already well traveled,
Mm.
so I feel like I would trust him to know what we should do. And I don't like every time I need to make a tough decision, I call him anyways. So I feel like I would also feel safe knowing that we made the right decisions if I went with Dad.
Okay. I feel like I don't know if I can dox him.
What do you mean?
Our cousin,
Which one?
EJ.
Yeah.
I'd take him.
How is that doxing him by saying his name? His initials name.
Yeah, that's doxing him, bro.
It's too much.
They're gonna
Oh,
find him.
really?
I'd take him. I feel like we'd be a good team
Mm.
because he's a very good people's person.
Oh my
So he could
God.
navigate
He
the
could
entire game so well.
he could convince, you know how they have like people that give you the clues? I feel like he could convince that person to like do the challenge for him.
For yeah,
He's so convincing.
yeah, he's.
Oh, that's a good choice.
I'd take him or Homer because that'd be really funny.
Homer would be like, I don't know. He would
He
I
would
could
not care.
picture him I could picture him taking the clue and then trying to read it and he's like, I don't know. Just give it to you. He would make good television. Y'all would for sure get famous.
Oh yeah, that'd be really funny.
All right. That's a good question. Let us know who you would take.
Yeah.
Um Oh, okay.
Fine.
And so now they're in a car trying I think they're going to a dinner party, right?
They're going to dinner party that Issa Rae. What's her name?
Already told me.
Leilani.
Yeah.
Leilani. I'll tell you why I remember her name
Why?
at the later scene.
Okay.
But yeah, so they're going to a dinner party that Leilani set up with her friends, I guess, but like they're kind of his friends because just they're dating.
Yeah.
And he's just like arguing about this guy. What is his name? Keith?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Let's call him
he's yeah Keith because he steals Cat Williams' bit.
Yeah.
I
He
don't what.
steals his jokes.
Yeah, do you remember the bit that they say specifically? Or like, how do you know I'm an asshole if you've never met me or something like that?
Oh, something. It was like it was a funny joke, but yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. It was something about being an asshole. I also am like that. I think I'm Kumail's character in this movie because I sometimes I have things for like reasons I don't like people and it's very stupid. Like that is kind of I understand that's kind of irritating, but it's something you can look past, right? Like you could just laugh at it or whatever, but he's so set on hating this guy because
Yeah,
he steals jokes.
yeah, I'm the same way. I would not be friends with that person or want to be associated. That's so annoying. But then Kumail, what's his name? In the I remember it.
I don't remember. I didn't even remember her name. Oh, but why you remember that? Just one thing about the fact that so she works at an ad agency and he is making a documentary, or he's like a documentary filmmaker, and it reminded me of the time I was in. So I was like shadowing somebody's class, or I was just in there. I think for whatever reason, I don't remember why I was in a college class with one of my friends, and this guy kept pronouncing documentary really weird. He kept saying documentary.
Oh,
He just kept and he kept I don't know why he kept saying it, but he was like, yeah, I watched this documentary and then I blah 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 and the documentary and I every time he said it, it made it harder and harder for me not to laugh. That was, you know, when you stifle laughter so much that it hurts.
yeah.
It was like that. It was, and it wasn't. I don't know why he didn't have an accent. Like I don't know why he said it like that. It was so weird. Documentary.
Documentary.
And for a while, I couldn't stop saying it like that. I have to like remind myself how to actually say it because I
Wait,
kept
how do
doing
you doc doc
documentary.
oh documentary.
See, that there was this tweet one time I saw that somebody asked oh, they asked, what is something that you started as a bit, you started doing as a bit, but then it just started to devolve into like, or started to evolve into just your personality.
Mm.
And that was one of those things for a while, but now I like train myself to say it right. And another thing is howdy.
Oh, howdy.
I
Yeah.
used to say it to make fun of you because that's like a thing at your school, but now it's like that's all I say. Every time I answer the phone, howdy.
You
Except
said
when
it.
it's with mom. Every time I answer the phone with mom, I yell it.
You said it at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. It's just who I am now. Oh, sorry, but go on about the car scene.
Jabron is his name. Kamel's name in the movie.
Gibran?
Jabron.
Okay. I'm not gonna.
Jibran. So they're driving. Jabron is driving, and they're arguing about Keith and just going to the dinner party. And he runs a red light and hits a cyclist. And they obviously freak out because this is a little continuity error. The windshield breaks. It like shatters. It doesn't shatter. It's just you wouldn't be able to see through the cracks to be able to drive.
Yeah.
And then someone comes up and is like, "Hey, I'm the police." Exactly like that. "Hey, I'm the police. Give me your car." That's a
Oh,
bad
because
guy.
they get out. Well, you skipped over, so they hit him and they get out to like see if he's okay, which is what you're supposed
Yes.
to do. And
Hmm.
then he just looks at them and runs.
Cycles off.
Oh yeah, cycles.
Gets back on his bike and dips, and that's where the guy comes.
Mhm.
And then he drives, but the windshield is broken differently. That's all I.
Oh.
That's it. I noticed it, and it kind of bothered me. Uh, and then they just go on this wild goose chase, and then eventually they corner him, the cyclist, and they run over him.
Well,
Well,
the guy that the murderer does.
yeah,
The
because he's driving.
Paul. I
The
don't remember his name in the movie. We'll call him Paul.
And yeah, he does it like 10 times. He does it a lot of times. He runs him over a lot. He just gets out and walks away, and then they're just like in shock. And they just walk over to his body, and then like two pedestrians come over, and they're like, "You just killed this man," because it looks like they murdered him. It looks like they ran him over. And they're just like, "No, no, that wasn't us. There was this guy," and they try to explain it, but then one of the pedestrians calls the cops. And then that's when Jabron's like, "On the count of three, Leilani, on the count of three." And then he just takes off after he counts down, and she's like, "What? Like, how was I supposed to know what you meant?"
I also like the part where he says her name and then the girl's like, and her name's Leilani, like on the
Yeah.
phone.
He's like, "Run, Leilani." That's exactly why I knew the name. Because I've
Yeah, I
seen
forgot
that,
that.
because that part is in the trailer, and I've seen that trailer so many times. And it was,
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen the trailer.
she's like, "Run, Leilani." And then, Issa Rae says, like, "Hold up, Jabron," or whatever. I don't know.
So dumb. That's why you never say the person's name that you're with.
Yeah.
That's the only time where when I watched it, because I know we complained about that when like people say each other's names. And when I was watching it though to myself, I was like, I'll allow it.
Yeah, it
For
was a
that
funny bit.
moment. It was pretty funny. Um, but yeah, now they're at some random restaurant or diner and they're trying to figure out what to do. And I don't even know what I would do. Like I would like to say that I wouldn't have left and I would have just waited to explain everything. But who knows? I don't know.
I'd go to the cops immediately.
Yeah, it's way worse to run away.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't have left.
Yeah, not at all. And so while they're at the diner, the police call them from an unknown number, and they're and they're trying to like get them to come. They like are telling about their car, and they're trying to see where they are. And she's lying to them, saying that they're in their house and they didn't realize the car wasn't there, and they're just really bad liars, basically. Uh,
Terrible.
and then after that, they decide. I forgot what they did. Why did they decide to leave?
Because isn't they were on the TV, like the news
Mm,
in the diner, right?
I don't remember. I don't know, but they decided to leave. Um, and then they realized that they had the guy's phone when they were like walking away, or they were I think they walked out of the diner and just kept walking, and they realized they had the bike guy's phone, and then he had what was it, a calendar thing that said to meet some girl named Edie at some place. I forgot what it was called. So they take a lift, and so there's as soon as Lyft or Uber started to be a thing, soon after Lyft Share and then Uber Pool started to be a thing, and then I feel like the whole joke of accidentally using an Uber Pool or a Lyft Share is so played out. I feel like I've seen it in everything.
This is a little different.
How so? Well, I did like whenever he said, "What's my default?" Because it is my default too, and I could see myself doing that. But I just feel like if I see another fucking Lyft Share joke in a movie, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
You're right. Stuber perfected it.
Oh man, what a triggering thing! And also, Kumail's in this movie.
Yeah. And that's
I
what started
forgot
us.
about
That's
that.
what started this podcast.
All right, I'm sorry. I apologize for downing it. And then so they go to the bar, and then that was kind of annoying. Where I was like, of course they're gonna find her. Or what I thought was gonna happen is they were just gonna look around, and the first person they look at was gonna be her.
Mhm.
That would have been annoying. But she did text and say that they're on the balcony. So they go to the balcony, and the girl's in like a trench coat and a fucking like looking like Carmen Sandiego. And
She's
then
in
they
Pitch
meet.
Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought I was
Um.
going crazy.
No, I think her name is. The actress name is Anna Camp, I think. So she leads them to the back once they meet her, and then they instantly get knocked out, and they wake up tied up in a barn. And this part was one of the most annoying parts to me, because their whole like banter of them fighting, but it's funny because they're in a dire situation, so they're fighting. Like that was kind of annoying. Like, would you actually fight this much if you were tied up and they were threatening to throw bacon grease on your face?
Yeah, they weren't scared enough.
That was kind of annoying. And it wasn't even funny. It was like just them fighting
Mm-hmm.
and being mean to each other.
I'd,
So
I,
I didn't
I
get
don't know.
it.
I would rather not have. I'm glad they didn't include, like, if what is her name, Kai, whatever her name was, Pitch Perfect lady.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather not have like the captor say like, "You guys are the worst couple ever," or like, "Can you guys get
Yeah.
over it?" or something like that. I'd much rather deal with just the arguing
I
because that
guess.
it'd be super annoying. I hate that. It's like, how are you guys a couple?
Yeah, like also the people that are trying to torture you, why would they take the time to even notice that? Like who gives a shit?
Exactly.
But yeah, so then they escape them somehow. I guess I don't know.
He
They
gets kicked in the chest by a
Oh,
horse.
yeah, I forgot about that. And also he 100% would have died.
Oh,
Um
without a doubt.
so they escape, and then they find out more about the guy that could have killed the bike guy, because they get some address that she had written on a piece of paper, and she was like flinging it around like, this has a number, like, of course.
This has your final clue. Everything you need to know. It's right
Get
here.
out of here. Sorry, Ari's like fighting me. Yeah, that was annoying. And then, so they go to a store to try to get a bunch of clothes, which I also didn't like this part because they buy clothes to change into, and then they have a weird moment in the back where they're just like going to the back of the store and where nobody's telling them anything. And I guess it's the middle of the night, so I even if I worked at that store, I guess I wouldn't give a shit either. I'd be like, yeah, just go to the back. Who cares? And I also that the moment where they like are trying to pay for the clothes, and so they try to give her the tags. That was kind of funny. I also, because part of me was like, well, why didn't you just take off the tags? But I guess that wouldn't be funny. I also don't understand why she didn't change her shoes. Like, if they have that kind of leggings that are like Galaxy or whatever the fuck it was, they wouldn't have shoes either. I don't know. She still had her heels, my whole thing. And probably one of my favorite jokes is when Kumail and Issa, I already forgot their names, when they're outside of they're waiting for their lift and they're outside of the supermarket and a cop car drives by and they're like staring at them and kind of looking them up and down. And you think something's going to happen and they just like drive away. And then Kumail says, oh, it's okay. He's just a regular racist. Thank God.
Yeah, because they thought it was for the murder that they think that they're accused of. I like that's probably one of my favorite jokes of the movie.
That's pretty funny. And then they break into Bike Guy's apartment after they find out where he lives because it's conveniently written down on the piece of paper. And this part honestly lost me. I feel like this is where I was kind of like not paying attention. But there are frat boys there, and then they like take one away and they're questioning him and they're like slapping him around. This is also another part where like I don't understand if you're in a room or if you're in a house with other people or an apartment and they're making so much goddamn noise, but nobody's like taking notice of it. Even when they broke through the window, there's a whole group of men there and nobody hears a thing.
Yeah.
It feels very strange. And obviously good old Paul, the murderer, shows up. Because I think they find the envelope, right, of like the pictures that lady was talking about. I think we totally forgot about that, but the Pitch Perfect lady, she mentioned some pictures.
Oh yeah.
Or she had them. No, she mentioned them. Because that's what she thought they had. And so they found them, and then Paul comes in and fucks everything up. He, like, murders everybody.
He does.
But they have the pictures, and they take them because they somehow slip away. And then they decide to go to the party because Keith, was that his name? That he could get the phone unlocked. Do you want to talk about that part?
Yeah, so they go and they come up with this lie because obviously they're not dressed in something that you would go to a dinner party with. They're just dressed in like gas station, corner store clothes. And they come up with this lie that Gibran is doing boxing and they just came from a boxing match.
Oh, because he's also beat the hell up.
Yeah, yeah. And he says that he's a bleeder.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
And then they come up with this weird lie that I don't know, it's kind of hard to follow, that they need to see his doctor immediately and the doctor's contact information is in the phone, but he can't remember what his passcode is because he got knocked up. Not knocked up, knocked out.
Knocked up because he's pregnant. I don't understand. That part was annoying too because like just take him aside and I say like, hey, I really need you to unlock this phone. I'll tell you about why later, but can you please just do it? Like if that's your friend, then wouldn't you just do it?
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't look like he could be trusted.
And then he has some sort of like how I like the jump cut whenever they're telling him, or when he's like, oh, I can unlock it for you. And then he's unlocking it, and it has like this Matrix-looking computer screen where there's all this like shit going on.
Why does he have that at the party?
It made me think that whenever mom and dad ask you for help, like even just like, oh, how do I change my wallpaper, that you take their phone and you just like are on
Oh.
coding shit and
Give me
like it
one
doesn't seem
second
that hard. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know.
to break a passcode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't want to give that out, but like it doesn't feel like it's hard for somebody that knows how to do it.
Sure.
Um But yeah, so they get it unlocked and they realize that it's an invitation for a party that's a black tie or they have to dress really nice. And they have this weird moment too, because like he also throughout this, obviously, throughout this murder mystery, they have time to talk about their relationship, where he says that he doesn't like the way she looks at Keith. And then whenever Keith unlocks the phone, he mentioned how like she always talks about Kumail and I don't know. It was so annoying. I was like, there's literally no time for this.
We
You can
missed
sort this later.
we missed a large thing
What?
that back
Oh
before
yeah,
the hit and run. Before that, they were like, we should probably end our relationship. They were thinking about breaking up. I guess they did break up.
they did break up, and as soon as they did, that's when they hit the guy.
Yeah.
So I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, everybody is. I'm assuming they've watched it, so they know. But yes, they decided to break up. So they're also, I guess that is kind of interesting for that to instantly happen, and then for you to be tied to this person for what could possibly be the worst night of your relationship. That
Hmm.
is interesting. I just don't. I feel like murder trumps that any day. So like, why are we still talking about this? And I know it's a movie, and I tried to tell myself that, but it was so distracting to the point where I kept noticing it.
Oh, she talks about me. Sir,
Yeah,
there was there was so
you
many
saw
people.
somebody get murdered. You witnessed a murder today, and you have the key to finding out who did it. Like, let's get it going. So they go to this party. They have a bunch of masks, and I fucking knew. So this is the part where I put the note. This movie has kind of lost me. Like, I think I just I like that they kind of it went in a different direction where there's this weird mask party, but like I don't know. At this point, I was kind of like, what's going on? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
And so they're calling numbers, and I was waiting for them to call one of their numbers, which didn't happen. So I'm glad that at least that wasn't predictable, that they didn't just be like it wasn't the last number, which I was expecting. And then I was like, oh, this is going to be a callback to the orgy joke from before. Um,
I didn't know that. I thought they were gonna
yeah,
kill him or something.
I kind of, as soon as people started walking away, I was like, oh yeah, this is like some weird shit that rich people do.
Hmm.
Um, but then, so that happens, and then they're like having the like weird sex party, whatever the hell is happening. But then he gets like, I guess they get notified that somebody's a traitor. It was the bike guy's like a traitor or something, and then um, they knew that, but because somebody used his invite, they knew somebody was there. And I did like the moment where they were like, everybody has to reveal themselves so we can know who the traitor is. And I knew at that moment that that was the trick, that if they remove their masks, then they're the traitors. But I kind of liked it.
What do you mean?
So do you remember that part where
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
like,
What do you mean you liked about like what did you like?
I liked that that was the twist, I guess, that it wasn't that everybody knew each other. It's that if you take off your mask,
I
then
see.
you're the traitor.
Yeah, yeah. You just
That
like that?
was I just liked that moment. I don't know. Even though I knew that was gonna happen, I was like, oh, that's kind of smart. I don't
Mm. Man, these
know.
cultists are kind of onto
Yeah,
something.
hey, not bad. Um, yeah, and then there's some alarm that's rung, so everybody leaves, and then the police come, and kind of, yeah,
They arrest him.
yeah, they arrest them, and then they're waiting to get questioned in the interrogation room, and I'm like, and I'm ready for this movie to be over. And it actually a good, kind of a nice plot twist. The detective comes in, and they're kind of they try to say like they try to jump it ahead of what they think she's gonna say, and they're like, "Hey, this happened, but we're not a part of it." And she was like, "Oh, we were looking for you all night to make sure you're safe."
Yeah. Like, yeah, of course you didn't murder people. We know that.
I liked that a lot because that for sure would never happen.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that that was like what this movie decided to do was to give you to let to not have that as something that stresses you out, to just like the guy is still out there and that's the thing we're worried about. I
Yeah.
did like that a lot. I did appreciate and respect that move. That the detective along with them was like, "Oh no, like why would you guys do that? That doesn't make any sense. Like why would you just run over a random guy?"
I
Um
like how Leilani's like, oh, I've only ever thought about murder when it comes to Kumail. That was funny.
oh, that part I did not like was I thought they had a good moment where they're like, because this is a movie, right? And they kind of used that and say like, well, this is a movie and this might not ever happen, but like we can do whatever the fuck we want because this is a movie. But then they swiftly ruined it by having them just fight again in front of the detectives, and it went on. It felt like it went on for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't like that it
Um,
went on for so long.
yeah, I like the moment where she was like, "Oh, I kind of want to kill him." Like that was kind of funny, but then they just kept doing it, and
Hmm.
it got really bad. And at this point, at this point, I I said I think they should break up. I feel like that's what the happy ending is in this situation. So that's what I was hoping this ending would be, but I guess we'll see if that actually happens.
Wild ride.
And then they are getting driven to their home where they're going to be protected, but then obviously the cop that's driving them is actually the murderer. Um, and then they have like I don't even remember why he was doing it. I think I was so disinterested at this point where I was like, I don't get it. I think they were like blackmailing people or something, right?
Well, so all of the cultists were like obviously just rich white people, like
Yeah.
senators, people of power, and they had hired him to keep the cops away from finding out about them. I mean, their cult.
Oh yeah.
But then he decided to blackmail them
Oh,
for
okay, okay,
money,
okay.
and he he did that with the cyclist guy, but the cyclist had hired those frat boys, and he got mad at that, so that's why he was going to kill him.
Mhm. So then they like he's gonna kill them, but he like takes so long. He didn't take any moment to pause to kill those frat guys, but he's like gonna tie them up. And I don't like what is the point of this?
Because they're
Um,
arguing, and they're
I
a bad couple,
guess
and they need to be with each other.
punished.
Yeah.
And then they somehow get out, and then they have a really another annoying argument while she's pointing a gun at them, while Issa Rae is pointing a gun at Kumail and Paul. um, and then finally she shoots the guy, but of course he's not dead because that would be too simple. And then they like hit him or something.
Yeah.
Then he's not actually dead though. The cops take him away when they get there, and then they kiss, and I guess they're back together. I don't know. Um,
Yeah. Mm.
I do like this last part though, where they
Mm.
jump to another year later and they're in the Amazing Race. And the last joke is that he has to ride a horse, and that's the whole thing is he was like,
I never want to
I'm
see a
never.
horse.
And that's one thing that I wish they would have done throughout the movie because I love jokes like that. Like I love callbacks. I just hate when the setup is obvious. Like when you set up a joke and it's obvious that you're going to call it back later. Like the whole orgy thing, for example. I knew that as soon as they set that up, like, oh, maybe they have a calendar event. I knew that they were going to call that back.
Oh yeah.
It was so obvious, but the whole horse thing, I had no idea. And so it was an actual surprise
Yeah.
when she was like looking and was like, she knew something was wrong in her eyes. And I was like, well, what is it? And when they showed a horse, I actually laughed.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish they would have done that throughout the movie. and they just didn't. I don't, you know what I mean? Like that, it's kind of like the difference between like the movie that did that well is like the other guys. They didn't really call back a lot of jokes, but when they did, it was really clever and it wasn't played out like the whole peacock thing or like a lot of good comedies do that because that's part of comedy is like calling stuff back and making people think about it. But
Yeah, it
yeah.
definitely taints the bit whenever it's just super obvious.
Yeah, because then I'm like, well, I know you're gonna bring that up again. Like
Yeah.
the Amazing Race thing too. I don't know that I actually thought they were going to be on it. And
Yeah,
if it,
no, not at
I
all.
think the thing I would expect from a comedy like this was that they showed pictures or something in the credits.
Yeah.
But the fact that they had a scene was kind of nice.
And that they were in first place and they were still like
Yeah.
kind of arguing. That was really funny.
Yeah, but that wasn't annoying though. That was perfect because they only showed a few like things of them arguing and then he was having a hard time running. Like that was kind of funny. And I wish they would have done that before, like having like quick, really small lines that are like jabs at each other. I feel like that's actually how couples fight.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. What do you think overall about this movie?
It was all right. I'm probably not gonna watch it again.
Yeah, no.
Two's enough for me.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you had to see it twice. Um, my one note about just overall what I thought was as when I was before I watched the movie, like I said, I haven't really seen any trailers. I think I've seen like maybe one, if
Which
not
how?
just like a couple of clips of it. I don't know. I really don't know how I haven't seen trailers to it. All of my like Google's watching us, right? And like they know I was gonna go to South by. They know, I follow Kumail and Issa Rae, so I don't know why they didn't put that together in the algorithm, but whatever. Um, but my expectations of this movie, well, it was gonna be like Adam Sandler's movies now, where they're really silly, but like to a degree that's not funny, where it's just too much.
Hmm.
That's what I thought, and it was gonna have like all those weird moments that Adam Sandler movies have, but it went on the total opposite end for me. Like to me, I was expecting it to be too much and to be like overloaded, but for me it was boring.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I do appreciate that they didn't go for those gimmicky things like I was expecting whenever he was sitting in front of the horse, I thought they were gonna have him shit like this horse shit on him. And I was expecting that, like that kind of slapstick, like gross humor. I guess not slapstick, but like that like disgusting kind of humor that you see in a lot of comedies.
uh,
And I'm glad they didn't. So I guess that's a good example of like instead of having the horse shit on him, it kicked him. I just wish they would have done it. I wonder how long it took. I feel like this movie didn't take super long to make, maybe. And if they had more time with the script, maybe they would have cracked it a little bit more. I don't know. Overall, I do appreciate it. Like, I appreciate that they didn't go lean into those gimmicky things and fall for those tricks that make it easy to like make people laugh or make people disgusted. Um, but to me, overall, it was just too boring.
that's all right. I think the thing I'll take from it is the Amazing Race, like the end bit. It was a good way to end it for me,
Hmm.
and it was because it was I don't know. It was just a nice way to wrap it up.
And at least if you're going to have a not great movie, you should have a good ending to leave
Hmm.
like a good last impression. And another thing I took out of this too is that so I saw Issa Rae in a she was in a like fully romantic movie called The Photograph, which personally I didn't like, but I thought she was okay in it. But I do want now I kind of want Kumail to do that. I want him to be a leading man for a romantic movie. He was for The Big Sick, but I want him to do one like more. I don't know why he. I mean, well, we all know why he hasn't because Hollywood is racist. But he's very good. He's very attractive. He's very funny. I want to see him in more movies. I'm excited for him though because I know he will probably get. I'm gonna guess within the next 2 years or after Corona, within the next year, he'll be in a romantic movie. He'll be a lead in a romantic comedy again. That'll be good.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, man's jacked.
I know that doesn't hurt.
I bet you were all upset whenever they were in the back, and she was like, "Well, take off your shirt. We can take a look." And he was like, and you were like, "Oh!" I could just imagine everyone just like, "Oh, it's happening," but then he couldn't. So
Yeah, I wonder if they did that on purpose.
I think so.
I'm
It's just
assuming
super
so.
funny.
Man, and that's what surprised me too, is I feel like obviously it took him a long time to get in that shape, but for some reason I thought it seems like it happened in like 2 months. So I
Yeah.
was surprised when I watched the movie and you could tell he was like, just from his face, that he was in really good shape.
The last half or the last season of Silicon Valley is just like,
Did they put him in like baggy shirts and stuff?
no, not really. He's
That's
just
what they did with Chris Pratt in Parks and Rec. If you like
uh
see in the last seasons, he just wears like really baggy stuff.
that's funny.
That'd be funny if they just leaned into it. Did they, or they just didn't say anything?
I don't think they really said anything. He was just unnecessarily jacked to be a software developer.
Oh, that's funny. All right, do you have any other thoughts, or do you want to go right into what our pick is for next week?
Let's go right into it. I have nothing else.
All right. Oh, let me first see. So we are going to watch another comedy. I think this one, I have seen this one, and Anthony hasn't, so we're kind of switching roles in this one. But for me, this is a comedy that takes all of those things that I was talking about for like Adam Sandler movies and those movies, those romantic comedies that are just like not good. It takes those and it makes fun of them. It's a satire, like a parody of those kind of movies. I'm gonna see if it's in any other streaming service. So it's in, the new thing now is HBO Max, which I don't know if there's any difference between HBO. There's like HBO Max now and Go. I don't know. But it's a movie called They Came Together. And if you have any of the HBOs, if you have HBO Max, HBO Now, HBO Go, or even DirecTV, it's on DirecTV, you can watch it. They Came Together.
Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler.
Yes. And yeah, it's like a super heightened romantic comedy, but because they're making fun of them. And I think it does it really well. So I'm excited to talk
All right.
about it.
That'll be cool. Yeah, I wanted to pick something from the new service. So it'll be cool.
All right. Anything else?
I got
Last
nothing.
words?
Thank you guys for listening. We're very close to hitting 800 downloads all time through all of our episodes, which is really cool. We're like 3 away. 797 right now.
Really?
Yeah, so hopefully by the time this episode comes out, or after, I'm sure it will. We got Dad, Mom, you.
Me.
It'll happen.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. It's been super fun to see these numbers go up.
Yeah.
So, if you wanna hit us up, talk to us, whatever you want to do. Let us know if you want to be on the episode. You can do that too. Hit us up on Instagram at Brother Sister Show and our Twitter at BroSisShow. Yeah, that's all I got.
And to reiterate what we said at the beginning of the episode, if you check out the description from this episode, there's going to be a bunch of resources and places to donate, things to do, petitions to sign, to help use whatever you can, provide what you can, to help support the Black Lives Matter movement. So if you look at the description, and I think any of the platforms, right, you should be able to see all of that.
It should be.
But also, like, this is not the end-all be-all list of things. There's people that are having, like, that are starting different petitions and having different causes to support. So just, like, pay attention. I guess that's all
Yeah.
we can say. And stay safe out there. Bye.